to ask my permission, Diane. Just goes to show you can't bring back the old days.
Do you ever watch these kind of movies and wish that you could take control of the action? Well, in 1992, Sega thought just that, and attempted it with the release of the game Night Trap.
About 2 months ago, I saw the video game Night Trap for the first time. It is a sick, disgusting video game, in my judgment.
There's the drill. That's the guy with the drill.
Yeah, that is the guy with the drill.
We mustn't catch him or we don't see the gratuitous violence.
It's an effort to trap and kill women.
For the first month or so, I would see Tom and I would say, there is the evil man that made Night Trap. And he'd say, there is the evil man that made Night Trap. But it was a joke for a while. Then the joke started getting serious until a friend of my family's called me and said, hey, did you know Captain Kangaroo came on TV today and said that Night Trap was a bad game?
It's time for the final full-motion video review for the 2017 Halloween horror playlist. Today we are looking at the most infamous of all of them, Night Trap. Night Trap was released in 1992 for the Sega CD, though the concept for the game began with a game called Scene of the Crime, which was an interactive movie in which you had to follow different scenes around to different rooms and listen to various conversations to figure out who committed a murder. The game was created to be used as a tech demo and laid the foundation for what Night Trap was to become, and for the Night Trap pitch. Night Trap became the focus of controversy in 1993, and it, along with Mortal Kombat, were cited as reasoning for the creation of the ESRB rating system in 1994. Politicians and religious organizations were outraged over the graphic content coming out in video games. The court hearing was led by Senators Joe Lieberman and Herb Kohl. Lieberman accused Night Trap of being overly violent, graphic, and promoting sexual violence against women, though he admitted that he had never actually played the game. In reality, the game was extremely tame, with minimal blood shown, no graphic killing scene, and the extent of sexual content extending to as much as young women in nightgowns and crop tops.
I actually did see TV reports that the object of the game was to kill and rape sexy co-eds.
There was absolutely no sex.
Sex? I mean, unless you're attracted to large, dark objects that go like this, there wasn't any.
Megan, this isn't gonna work. You're not scaring me. Wait. What are you doing? No! Megan, no!
Overall, it was a PG-13 level B movie, though the anger of the moral authority won the battle. As a result, video game companies agreed to a system of self-regulation as opposed to government censorship, and thus the ESRB was formed.
I find that so extremely offensive, and the only word you can say to the manufacturers and the shareholders of the company is shame on you. Shame, shame, shame on you.
I can't believe this. I come up here for fast boys and fast boats, and I get this.
Hey, let's try one of these.
Cindy, all you think about is food.
Where's my sister?
Oh boy, here we go again.
I'm serious. Eddie made these laser guns to fight off the Ogs.
Ogs?
We gotta tell everybody else. Follow me.
Man, he is really flipped out.
I don't think you should be hanging around that weird Eddie.
Definitely.
Ew!
Eddie, you're making a mess.
That tastes like blood.
Yeah, right.
Following the hearing, Night Trap sold 50,000 copies the following week, though eventually it was pulled from family-focused gaming stores. As the controversy slowly dissipated, Night Trap was ported to the Sega 32X, Panasonic 3DO, DOS and Mac computers, Microsoft Windows, and this year, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Despite the controversy, or probably more likely due to the controversy, Night Trap has generated quite the cult following throughout the years, and has become a horror classic in its own right. Night Trap is a full-motion video game, like Phantasmagoria and Harvester. This means real actors are superimposed into the game, though in reality it's really more of a movie playing over a HUD, and pressing certain buttons trigger certain scenes to show. The movie portion was directed by James Riley, who has since went on to work on as an effects supervisor on things like Shameless and The Office. The director of photography was Don Burgess, who worked on things like Forrest Gump, Raimi's Spider-Man, and the upcoming Aquaman movie. The plot of Night Trap finds a team called SCAT, the Sega Control Attack Team, as they explain that there have been disappearances of young women around the Martin estate, and they have wired the house full of cameras and booby traps and have sent in an agent, Kelly, into the house to investigate. You are a member of SCAT and are in charge of monitoring the cameras and setting off the traps to ensure Kelly's mission is fulfilled successfully. Kelly enters the house under the ruse of a slumber party getaway with her friends. While staying in the house, the girls are attacked by augurs, essentially vampires, and must use various traps around the house to escape with their lives. The special effects are simple. They don't really show much, and it's not graphic in the slightest, but it's pretty cool knowing that they had to shoot scenes for each individual outcome. If a augur escapes, if they're captured, if somebody dies, if someone lives, and all the endings. I could imagine it was a lengthy process to get everything filmed and put it all together. Kelly was played by Dana Plato, who was the only actress with mainstream success, as she eventually scored a leading role in the sitcom Different Strokes. Unfortunately, Plato struggled with drug and alcohol abuse since her teenage years and died at the age of 34 due to an overdose. The second tragedy that I'm aware of revolving the FMV games that I have been reviewing. The first, which I forgot to mention in my review of Harvester, was that Kurt Kissler, the man who acted as Steve, the lead character in Harvester, was actually arrested for child porn. Now that's really fucked up. The core gameplay is actually fairly weak and isn't much different to something like Five Nights at Freddy's, though Night Trap is much more enjoyable than that ilk. Night Trap is best described as an interactive movie. You cycle through various cameras, listening to different dialogue and watching different scenes unfold as you trap augurs that are wandering around the house. You fail if too many augurs go wandering around the house uncaptured. There are a whopping 6 different endings to the game depending on how many people you save and how many augurs you capture. The movie is poorly acted, wonderfully cheesy 90s era B-movie trash. I loved watching through the scenes of the game unfold. It's great fun.
This is the life.
What about Tony? Oh, Tony's just here for the summer. You know, I think he likes Ashley.
Really?
Yes. You can see it in his eyes.
And he's wearing sunglasses.
I mean, you can tell by his face.
And his bod.
Yeah.
Sarah, what is this?
Oh.
Cool.
My father collects weird things.
Though it's difficult to truly appreciate the movie aspect because you constantly have to cycle through cameras. Look at all the crazy shit going on at once. I want to watch what's going on here. And I really want to watch what's going on here. But they happen at the same time, and I have to be capturing augurs at the same time. There's an added challenge that in order to activate the traps, you must be tuned in to specific signals that change throughout the course of the game. So on top of everything, you also have to be listening to the conversations in which a new color code might be mentioned. I found the game surprisingly complex and difficult. You really have to be aware of what is going on. If you're too slow hitting traps, characters will die, and if certain characters die or too many augurs are let into the house, you lose. Since the cutscenes play out the exact same every time, it becomes more of a memorization game as you learn exactly when and where you need to be setting off these traps. Which kind of sucks because you become more focused on following augurs than watching and enjoying the movie unfolding in front of you. Luckily, the 25th Anniversary Edition, which I have been playing on, the limited release games version on PC, fixes some of my problems with the game. It was actually a really nicely done Anniversary Edition. There are different HUDs you can play, including one from the original release and from every subsequent re-release, including a new HUD for 2017. The game displays in 1080 resolution, and there are two camera modes, a static mode which only shows images of the rooms in the smaller camera menu, and a dynamic mode which actually shows video of what is going on in the smaller camera menu. I found that using the 1994 HUD with dynamic camera to be the best way to play, as it gives you the biggest viewing screen and the dynamic camera makes it much easier to play the game, though you can mix and match and play however you want. The Anniversary Edition also adds a new mode, a survival mode where you just trap augurs without the story, and in my opinion, the best additions are the video extras. The game comes with documentaries about the development of the game and the controversy surrounding it, which were pretty cool to see. There is also a way to unlock and play back and watch every scene from the movie as well, which means you can enjoy the story without having to worry about catching augurs, though it is divided by scene and room. Overall, Night Trap is best enjoyed if looked at as less of a game and more of an interactive movie, because, well, it is. The gameplay is minimal, but the movie is rather entertaining, I felt. It's cheesy as hell, but that's what gives it its charm and character. Like I said in my reviews for Phantasmagoria and Harvester, those games were like you were playing a B-movie. Well, in Night Trap, you really are playing a B-movie.
What do you think of Night Trap, bitch?
It's full of sluts and perverts.
So does that make it good?
Yeah, buddy.